Hey, it's Cora. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been teaching yoga for any amount of time, I wonder if you have ever asked yourself if you should really be teaching yoga, like you as a person. Are you good enough to be teaching yoga? Or maybe you've even thought that like someone was going to find out who you really are and that you don't measure up to being a yoga teacher. If you've experienced that, chances are you might be struggling with imposter syndrome. But don't worry, it's something that comes up for many of us in teaching as well as in business. And in today's video, I'm going to share 3 really practical strategies that you can implement to help you move past imposter syndrome and stop letting it hold you back from being the best teacher and the best business owner that you can be. Let's get into it. Okay, so my first tip to help you move past imposter syndrome is actually to flip the script on what you think imposter syndrome indicates. Now, chances are if you've been experiencing imposter syndrome, you probably think it's a negative thing. It's unpleasant, right? Nobody likes to experience it. However, in my perspective, when clients and students come to me with imposter syndrome, more often than not, I look at it as a positive sign, a positive indication that they are actually on the right path. And you might be like, okay, are you just like nuts? No, there's a reason. So in 1999, I've got my phone here so I make sure I quote this correctly. David Dunning and Justin Kruger discovered a phenomenon which is now called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Very original name. That phenomenon, the Dunning-Kruger effect, describes the fact that people who are incompetent or ignorant in a particular field don't know what they don't know. So let me read you this. Those with limited knowledge in a domain suffer a dual burden. Not only do they reach mistaken conclusions and make regrettable errors, but their incompetence robs them of the ability to realize it, right? So if you are new, let's say you're new to teaching or you're new to business or you're new to making like a YouTube channel or something like what I'm doing right now, once you pass that initial stage of learning, like let's say it's your 200-hour training or you've made your first 10 videos or whatever it is, you can start to feel like an imposter because you realize how far you have to go. But the really important point here is that you have moved past that realm of incompetence. You have moved past being a true imposter, right? So you actually know what you don't know. So in my opinion, when you start to feel those feelings of imposter syndrome, think about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Look at those feelings as a positive indication that you are actually moving through the stages of competence, right? Of being able to do something that at one point you couldn't do. If you hadn't moved through that first hurdle, that first stage, you wouldn't know how much you don't know. Like I remember when I first did my very first yoga teacher training, when I signed up for it, I was so much more confident before I did my training than I was after my training. You might ask why. It's like, well, when I went into my training, I was like, girl, I can make a better playlist than that, and thought I could teach yoga. After I did my training, I realized how vast yoga is, how broad it is, and I realized how much I had to learn. So look, even though I was actually much more capable and competent after my training than before, right? So when you experience the feelings of imposter syndrome, use your yoga, right? Direct your mind towards the Dunning-Kruger effect and flip the script. It's actually a sign you're making progress. Okay, tip number 2 to help you move past imposter syndrome is to just do it. Okay, I know Nike sort of already coined that one, but the reason why it was their slogan for so long and the reason why I'm bringing it up here is that action is powerful. So something that I like to put into practice in my own life is to not necessarily believe my feelings. My feelings do give me really valuable information, and I'm a pretty intuitive person, and it really helps to guide what I do in my life day to day and long term. However, your feelings aren't facts. Right? So they're valuable and they're informative, but they're not facts. facts. So even if you feel like an imposter, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And oftentimes we wait, or we think we need to wait to act until we feel confident or until we feel competent. And the truth is, that's totally an ass backward way to do it. We need to take action in order to develop competency, which develops confidence, the opposite of imposter syndrome, right? So if you feel like, who am I to do this? Who am I to teach this class? Even though those feelings are valuable and important to listen to, I would like to wager you a challenge to not let those feelings dictate your actions. So what does that mean practically? Well, it means you sign up for a class, or you put yourself in a position where you are locked into teaching, even though you might not feel super confident or like you deserve to be there. It's to say, hey, I feel you, I hear you, to this part of you that feels that way, but I am going to take action anyway. So competency follows action, right? If I want to get better at making YouTube videos, which I so do, I can't just get better by researching and reading and watching other YouTube videos. I have to do all of that, yes, but I actually have to take action. I have to come up with a script, I have to set up my equipment, I have to film a video, I have to edit it, and I have to publish it, right? I need to take action. So if you are feeling like an imposter, first of all, your feelings aren't facts, right? They're valuable and important, but you don't have to let them drive your behavior. And speaking of action, that is exactly why my motto for this channel and for my whole business is it's a practice, right? You can check it out here on my tote bags. I'm giving one away every single week to viewers of this channel and listeners to my podcast. And the reason why I have this as it's a practice is a practice implies doing something, not just thinking about it, not just researching it, not just planning it, but actually doing it. And I want to give a shout out to this week's winner. This week's winner is Janae Larson. So Janae is winning one of these lovely tote bags. Janae, congratulations. Send me an email, support@coradrew.com with your postal address, and we will pop your tote bag in the mail. But before we do that, this is what Janae had to say. So it was on a video from a few days ago called The 10 Commandments of Social Media for Yoga Teachers. Janae commented that she loved the section on challenging your ideal client's beliefs in your social media content. Thank you so much for that comment, Janae. The reason why I picked yours is because I think that's one of the most important things we can do and often overlook is challenging our ideal clients' assumptions or beliefs about working with us. Hey, that's what this video is, right? A lot of yoga teachers let the feeling of imposter syndrome hold them back from doing what they actually want to do. And if that's creating a business, then hopefully this video is challenging your belief that you have to buy into your own BS, because you don't, right? Okay, my third and final tip to help you move past imposter syndrome is to find your cheerleaders. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean the people in your life who will cheer you on and know what you're going through to help you have a supportive community who picks you up when you've fallen down and helps to connect and empathize with you, and people who know what you're going through, who will give you positive support on your journey of becoming a teacher or becoming a business owner. So one of the most important pieces of advice that I give my clients and my students is to not talk about your business with other people who don't have their own business until you are confident in your business. Now you might be saying, that sounds like a cult, Cora. And trust me, there's a really good reason why. If you're unsure of your business, and you should be if it's brand new, right? Of course you're unsure. It's uncertain, right? So it's this brand new little baby business and you're not quite sure of it yet. You haven't proven yourself yet. You still are just trying this out for the first time. If that's the stage you're in, little baby business stage, and you share that with someone who loves you, your parents, your friends, your family, who has your best interest in mind, but they've not run their own business, they are going to pick up on your feelings of insecurity and potentially highlight them. and they do this out of love, but it can have a really detrimental effect. So they might not know or realize that it's completely normal to not make a profit from your business for the first 18 months to 2 years. And if you are 6 months in and you're sharing that you're not making a profit yet and you're feeling a little uneasy, and you tell that to someone who doesn't know that it's totally normal to not make a profit at that point, they may be like, wow, okay, well, things don't sound like they're going very well. Do you want to go back to your job or do everything else? And oftentimes you'll walk away feeling deflated and confused and just not good, right? Or things like, one of my clients said her mom was like, why are you writing that blog post? No one is paying you to do that. Well, that is not the mentality you want to have towards creating free content in an online business. Free content powers your online business. It's how you build community and create connections. It's how you add value to people and how they begin to trust you so that when you do offer a paid service, they'll be there and ready and willing to connect with you on that level. But her mom didn't know that, right? I don't know her mom's employment history, but I've even got like updating this. Maybe don't talk about it to people who even just haven't run an online business, right? Because if someone had a brick and mortar business 20, 30 years ago, it's a different landscape now. So what do you want to do, right? Those cheerleaders that you're looking for in your online business, they may not be your friends and family. You could connect with another group of yoga teachers, maybe or even they don't have to be yoga teachers, to be honest. They could be other people in different fields who are doing a similar thing. Right? They're building a business from scratch. They're creating something that didn't exist before online. Connect with people like that so you can have each other's back. When you say, oh, it's 6 months in and I'm not making a profit, that person can say, you know what, that's totally cool. I didn't make a profit for 8 months, but then after that, here's what happened, and here was my plan, and here's how I invested all of that money back into the business, and all of those sorts of things. And you'll walk away feeling like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, this is fine. Or, to have those cheerleaders who will comment on your social media posts and help to lift you up. So there might be a group of other entrepreneurs, rather not employees, other entrepreneurs that you can find, yoga teachers who are doing something similar. And you can also use that, find a cheerleader in a mentor or a coach as well. I will plug my own community. I think we're awesome. There's nothing but good vibes and support inside of Lost to Launch. We're opening the doors again at the end of this month, beginning of next month. So if you're watching this video at a later date, we usually do that in March and August every single year. So if you feel like being a part of the community that I'm in with my peeps who are all doing this together, consider applying for Lost to Launch. Okay, so I have one last thing to leave you with. And if this doesn't motivate you to move past your imposter syndrome or move forward despite your imposter syndrome, that's really what we're talking about, right? Not letting those feelings control you. Consider this. This is one that motivates me. I'm like, I'm a funny person on the inside, but this motivates me. So let's say you have a dream, right? Bring that dream to mind. What is it that you want to do? Is it open an online platform? Is it to create a trauma-informed training for teachers? Is it to create a set of digital downloads for your ideal client, for yoga for back pain or something? Like whatever it is that you actually feel passionate about. Your dream, the thing that you want to do. I mean, if you don't know yet, that's cool, but you can envision the feeling of what you want to create. Imagine that. You got it? Feel good? Okay. What if I were to tell you that if you don't do that, someone with less education, less experience, and less credibility is going to do that exact same thing, and they're probably going to have wild success, and they're going to kick ass and take names while they do it. So if you don't do it, you're gonna see somewhere out there on the internet, someone else do your idea, even if they're less qualified, even if they have less experience. So you do it, right? If you don't do it, someone else is going to. So why don't you do it, right? That's my biggest thing. Just do it, right? Okay, so in summary, the 3 things that can help you move past imposter syndrome or move forward despite it are to flip the script, right? Imposter syndrome is not a bad thing. It actually means you're more competent than you think you are. Cool. Number 2, just do it, right? Get into action. Don't let those fears hold you back from taking action, right? Imperfect action, messy action. It's what we're all about. Number 3, find your cheerleaders. Find peers or mentors or a support group that can help lift you up as you're going forward, who can empathize with you and support you in that journey of being an entrepreneur. Okay, so I do share a lot more of my thoughts about why yoga teachers in particular, I think, suffer from imposter syndrome on this week's podcast. So if you're like, you want to dig into this and you want to go deeper into this realm, check that podcast out, pop your headphones in, go for a walk, do whatever you want to do, clean your house. That's what I do when I'm listening to podcasts. And I think it can help to illuminate even further why as a group, we as yoga teachers tend to suffer from imposter syndrome the mostest. Okay, so over and out. I will see you next week. And don't forget to enter to win your tote bag. Leave a comment below this video and you might just win one of these. Today's episode is brought to you by Lost to Launch, my 50-hour yoga teacher training that will teach you everything you need to know to start your very own business. If you're ready to take the reins in your teaching career and tap into professional autonomy and an uncapped earning potential, then Lost to Launch might be the right program for you. When you join, you receive 16 weeks of Business 101 education, live group coaching, and personal one-on-one mentoring with me every single week. As well, you get lifetime access to the curriculum and our worldwide community. We start twice every year. You can join in August or March. Our course is delivered entirely online, so as long as you have an internet connection, you can start building the business of your dreams today. To learn more or apply, go to www.coragiroux.com/lost-to-launch. Oh, and we're fully accredited with Yoga Alliance, so if you care about that kind of thing, you can log your continuing education hours for the course. Once again, if you want to learn more or apply, head to www.coragiroux.com/lost-to-launch.